Hello again and welcome to Wealth Today on the Wealth Channel. In today's interview, Professor Chris Worley is speaking with Ivan Illán. Ivan is discussing how a family can involve their children in charitable initiatives, in turn passing the philanthropic mindset on through generations.
Ivan, how can parents teach lessons to their children about the importance of giving?
The best lessons are always learned from those that lead by example. It's a wonderful way to interact with children in getting their input and seeing what ultimately the family wants to do about the community around them. The charitable gift funds or donor advised funds have been wonderful ways to re-engage families in a more formalized fashion on their giving. And the flexibility of those programs in terms of naming their foundation or legacy and involving a family in grant-making activities. It's a powerful tool. It's an inexpensive tool.
How do your clients know what is a good amount to begin their philanthropic initiatives?
I don't think there's a minimum or a maximum, but I do believe that the amount should be relevant and feel like a gift from the family. It's important to make the gift that that child will be making to an organization relevant to them. So if they're receiving an allowance, I typically recommend an amount that would be 2 months worth of allowance, maybe 3 months worth of an allowance. The important thing is not to take the allowance away from the child. It's really about empowering the child that they can direct funds in a way that they see fit. When philanthropy is used as a tool to educate heirs about good stewardship of the family's wealth, this is when philanthropy is most powerful. When you're using charity in this way, ultimately you're allowing the heir, the child, the grandchild, to actually discover for themselves what's important to them and what they value. And it has very lasting impact on their view towards money.
What are the common consequences of poorly planned estates and trusts when passing down a large inheritance?
The fact that we have this baby boom generation, which essentially is, the pig through the python, as it were, there's going to be the most massive amount of wealth transfer within the United States, or frankly the world, that's coming up. And so this is a very significant issue in terms of being able to put some proper planning, proper education, and development of the heirs so that they are in fact prepared and ready to take those assets and do good with it, not only themselves, but for the world around them.
Ivan, do you think philanthropists are born, or are they made, or are there some that would fit into either category?
I think that philanthropists are actually made more than born. And a lot of the clients that I work with from various foundations, there may have been one patriarch or matriarch 1 or 2 generations ago that was very philanthropic, and it is an active education that the family takes to really rear heirs into that mindset and thinking. It's a very proactive engagement with children and grandchildren to get them into that mindset.
What have you found to be common misperceptions about the role and the impact of philanthropy?
Yeah, in my conversations, I try and have philanthropy thought of as a tool and less about giving money away, and more about how to instill the values that a patriarch or matriarch might have in the family. And so oftentimes I ask them, you have this wonderful wealth that you've accumulated, you have this wonderful retirement plan in place. Wouldn't you really want to see your children, and of course their children, being able to also experience that kind of comfort and being able to really enjoy the life to the fullest, and also have an impact on it. And that's not just about transfer of wealth, that's also about transfer of values, about how to think about that wealth, how to ultimately gauge their own consumption levels and be okay with a couple of Porsches. It doesn't necessarily have to be having 10 cars in the driveway for the super high net worth families. And that resonates with people. They really understand the concept of transferring values, not just transferring wealth. Nowadays, coming out of a recessionary environment, many clients who are in their 60s or 70s have children who are in their 30s, and those children are unemployed right now. And so they're feeling a particular pinch in their own retirement plans. And so the idea of being charitable just for charitable's sake certainly does not have an appeal. But in the larger scope of transmission of those values that built the business or built the wealth for the family, it's much more able for a family to get their head around it and be able to really be successful in that effort.
Ivan, it's been a pleasure speaking with you and hearing your expertise on this essential and often overlooked area of financial planning. I'm Chris Worley, and thanks for joining us here on the Wealth Channel.